Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for bearing with us for that very long musical break. Lead up to our one and only match of the night. This is going to be Grandpa Squad versus Forward Movement. I've got two amazing guests with me tonight, Sternab as well as Azaraki, both joining me on the cast, and Ty, of course, our usual observer, joining us as well. Welcome, boys.
Hey.
So today, I mean, it's going pretty good. We've obviously had a bit of a delay. Of course, that second match was not casted, but we got something now, so I'm excited to actually be able to watch some Siege. These are some very important games going on at the moment for both of these two squads. Grandpa Squad currently sit in a top 16 slot. They'd like to keep that for as long as possible, ideally at least into the closed qualifiers. And then Forward Movements were certainly in a position where they could have grabbed one of those top 16 spots. It's still, I think, mathematically possible, but they're going to need a lot of luck and go perfect throughout the rest of these qualifiers. So an important game for them, definitely for Grandpa Squad, more so as their chances are going to be a little more realistic. We'll head into Bank now.
I've got some insider info here as well. I messaged Pox and I asked him, is Bank a good map for you or what? And he said, yeah, so hopefully we don't get slammed. And then he put the sweat smile emoji, which for me, that says a lot of confidence, personally.
I would agree with that. Our lovely friend Talon reached out with some map stats as well. This is a map that Grandpa Squad have a 88.9% win rate on. So that's a little concerning. They won it 8 out of 9 times. So Forward Movement, maybe they should sweat a little bit harder, because this is not looking good on the well, right away.
While they do have a 50% win rate, Forward Movement does, specifically on Bank, Forward Movement does have 12 games under their belt on it, so they're definitely practiced. But when you're up against basically an 89% win rate, that's definitely pretty scary. They're probably gonna have to pull some new unexpected strategy out, because it doesn't seem like this is the type of situation where you can just play fundamentals and still come out on top.
This is going to be insanely defender-sided. Those are some very interesting bans, with the Habana and the Thatcher ban both coming out. It's going to make things very difficult, especially for Hatch, to see a lot of Maverick play coming out here from Grandpa Squad.
It's definitely not something you typically see on Bank. I mean, sure, if you're playing on, let's say, Clubhouse or something, that wouldn't be too out of the ordinary. You tend to see that happen, but
I like this.
Bank, this is interesting.
I really like the CEO play first. No. I like the CEO play. Well, I like the Warden being picked, because I think the Warden's going to get 6 picked.
Yeah.
If you're picking a Warden here, you're going to, like, say, okay, they're going to go downstairs because they have a Warden, and he's going to 6-pick this onto an AGOG, hopefully. Oh, Castle is good, too. Hiding the Castle is also really good, too, because it's, you know, they're not going to go CEO without a Castle, right? But also, going CEO first, when you know they have to bring a Maverick if they want to attack downstairs, it's really going to hamper your ability now to have any decent utility to get these guys off the wall. No book now in play, which you might want to bring if you're going to go upstairs. So already, I really like the strategy coming out here from Forward Movement.
And we mentioned earlier that, or I mentioned that they should bring something new out of the book, and I think this is a pretty good start for them. Looking at their setup so far, barricading the windows, at least one of them, over on the side of Hellfire. So I want to see where he puts the rest of his castle barricades. One blocking off the hallway, the balcony. Okay.
This is classic, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So this
just
is
hold this hallway. They can't push in the windows at all, and he can just hold the conference from there as well. It's going to be really hard to get Hellfire out of that position if he just chooses to play it. See, LG run this exact same setup. I don't know if you watched their game against SSG recently in Pro League.
You know, they're more so going to be in spots where you're going to ideally deal with them in range. Particularly those ones on the window are going to be a lot easier if you don't have to bring a sledgehammer to them. So certainly would be a little bit worried if you're the attackers there. And you've got some with the lifelines, but already in the first, like, 30 seconds of the round, they've used both of them there from Zbox. So, alright, you're using a little bit of that utility to open up those castle barricades, but it's still going to be a major problem, and you're not going to have the utility later on in the round when you go for a plant or whatever roam fair you want to employ.
Another thing that's nice about this setup, considering there's a Hibana ban, is that it means you can play pretty safely on the hallway right above the stairs, because the attackers have no way to open that up from the outside rappel, which is a very common strategy you see. It cuts out rotations, and we see Liam can basically play here however long he wants, and it's going to be pretty hard to flush him out because there's no Hibana. They have actually no way to breach that wall.
Really don't like the positioning from Lean here, because this is a very easy angle for him to get picked off of. Z-Box has managed to open up all these castle barricades. He's gotten that full control now. And he's denied a lot of their areas. He's the bulletproof camera as well on top of that. And now all those windows are going to be very heavy power positions. But there goes the first kill of the round. As Z-Box already playing off that power position. Hellfire's down. And Lean is in a really bad position right now. So now the momentum is completely into Grandpa Squad. But Valor will strike back. There goes Silent.
Stepping up with that ACOG, good to be able to get the refrag, taking the sledge off the board, some frag grenades down, and of course, that utility and great gun as well. So, still some gunfights could happen here. Cammy creeping up these lobby stairs, knows somebody's inside of elevator, but can't really take that gunfight. He'd love to have some frag grenades here, but unfortunately, that's not really an option.
Well, we have the Capital bolts, I assume? Yeah, he's still got the crossbow bolts, so it's still good.
I like that Spider-Man rappel down inside a lobby. It doesn't get punished, and you can't really get the angle onto the elevator, but now we can start pumping those in, and you can see Lean's just got to get on out of there. He'll escape with his life, though, and oh, look at the push from Pox. He gets one. Can he get a second?
No refrag
on those stairs. Unfortunate. He'll come back in the front desk. He gets gunned down as well. Zedbox is on a triple kill all of a sudden. He could still go for the AC or finding one inside a janitor. Gets that one as well, but his teammate steals the last one. Grandpa Squad for round number 1.
Z-Box definitely saved that round, but that was very, very sloppy from Grandpa Squad at the end. They almost completely lost their advantage there, where they have so much control of a lobby. Their lobby push is looking really good, despite the lack of utility they're really bringing in that situation. Initially thought that forward movement, had completely thrown them off with that CEO pick, but yeah, I mean, they regained the momentum. Z-Box did a good job of getting castles open, taking utility on the board, establishing that power play position and not allowing defenders to freely rotate around that area. But yeah, almost a complete disaster, especially with the play that Pox had. If he had just realized that there was another person spiral, they may have just saved that round, but well, unfortunately it wasn't meant to be, and well, we're going to be going to lockers this time.
We have a Valk in the castle.
Though. Yeah.
Yeah, Valk in castle, and that tells me that their strategy here is to play more of a first floor roam game, and basically deny the hatches and deny those space, which is sort of interesting because there's no Habana and the Maverick is not on the board.
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm interested to see what happens, but I don't think that's going to happen just yet. The castle is definitely interesting here. Can we follow the castle and see what he does here?
It's just, I rarely see a castle on this site without having some big presence on the first floor.
Yeah. I'm just confused as to where this is going to happen because I don't think they have the rest of the operators to kind of support a roam like this, and yet they are reinforcing the staff open area hatches.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Part of me kind of wants to say that this castle pick was a mistake.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and
because like these castles are really weird, but maybe it's also to help out confuse on the roam.
The sledge still being brought, so again, like they have more options to deal with it. Particularly this one on balcony. If he spawned in the back alley, then that's like as good as gone. Really not going to do a whole lot of work. But
and this is classic Thatcher ban on blue. This is so horrible to deal with.
Of course, where you could bring the warden in that spot, they're going to put the smoke there instead. Not a bad play at all. They're going to be hopefully able to hold that down for a while. As I thought, this is not going to stay alive for too long. However, you had to waste one of those ash charges. So hey, a little bit of utility wasted from the defense to hold on to this top floor. Are there really any roamers up there, though? I can't see any outlines at the moment. The drone's going pretty efficiently. They might have just placed those up there to waste some time and put some fear into the hearts of Grandpa Squad, because right now there hasn't really been any aggression to follow it up.
Looking at their positions, it definitely looks like there was some sort of miscommunication about what their strategy was going to be, because you have the castle, you have this situation where pretty much nobody can contest blue stairs, but yet you're not really putting roamers on the board at all. We have Pox here, but I think that's the only one confused is up there too, but overall, they're not in...
I'm very confused as to how Pox has just been allowed to rotate completely up marble, and he hasn't been punished for this at all. It's happened last time from Grandpa Squad. Unable to control roamers is a big issue on Bank.
Well, they're just going to keep on pushing dirt. Hellfire could be about to find Z-Box. Of course, the attackers kind of just ignoring those roamers at the moment, whether they know they're there or not. Just based on where Silent is looking, it seems like they do. They're going to drone away and find Confused at some point. Looks like they've probably just found himself a copy yet, and then going for this gunfight with the SMG-11. No damage dealt to the Jaeger, who still creeps around. A little bit of a dangerous spot. Silent wastes a frag grenade on him. He's going to take a little bit of damage from his own frag. No, he stays alive. Zedbox able to take down Hellfire, and they should be able to find that player up top as well. Yes, they do. They're going to C4 from Pox. A lot of the kills flying back and forth. Pox a double as he comes for this rotate. Able to take down K2 and Cammy. That's a huge flank coming out on the Valkyrie, and all of a sudden the attackers are whittled down to just 2.
big sloppy mistakes coming out from Grandpa Squad across the board. They're unable to control the roamers. Still haven't shut down Pox at all. Izzy Papa Prophet's in a really bad situation right now because he's got 2 hatches to deal with here as well. Despite the fact he has managed to open up onto the site instead. So he's only got 35 seconds left to do something here.
And looks like the execute's going to happen. Lean will get one. That leaves us with a 1v3. Silent needs to be able to clutch it out. It's not going to happen as Lean gets a headshot as well in forward movement. Bring themselves on the board, tying it up 1-1.
I think the biggest issue there was no Maverick.
Yeah, they had nothing for the hatches.
Maybe also an outplay because they didn't sick pick off the castle. So like you see this castle, you're like, oh, they're getting a CEO, so we don't need the Maverick. So maybe.
And they did end up committing more effort to the roam than at the start, because when the round started, Valk was still downstairs, and we thought she was going to stay there for the entire round, but Box actually...
Well, the thing is as well, is they droned out the complete top floor, and as you point out, Jesse, it was actually quite efficient droning coming out from Grandpa Squad there. They kind of had it on lock for a lot of the early game, and I just don't understand how you let someone rotate a marble like that and you don't know that they're there on that open hatch. You really have to be aware of those things. The fact that he's allowed to get a double kill in that position, I mean, great play by Pox again. You know, seeing a weakness in the Grandpa Squad lineup and their kind of established front line and pushing against it. I mean, he's done that 2 times in a row now, and 2 times in a row he's been rewarded with it. So Grandpa Squad, if they really want to lock this up, they got to lock it down. They can't let defenders do stuff like that. They are going to go back to CEO, however. And yeah, like this time, you know Maverick in that lineup. They know they have to be going CEO this time. So yeah, this is a good line.
I think that Pox just, you know, a really fantastic player, one of the best in the game in my mind, and of course his recent history has been quite strong. Won 2 whole games to make it to the Toronto finals for Canada National at LAN, and lost every single match once he got to LAN. He's a beast of a player, and you really got to watch out for him as he continues to frag out throughout the rest of this game. They move to the top floor, as you've said, and so perhaps with these Valkyrie cameras, he can go for even more aggressive plays, go for some runouts if he gets some cameras outside, and just run around that main lobby, make life really, really painful for Grandpa Squad. As maybe learn not to underestimate this team.
That's definitely a good point as well. Particularly being around the lobby, like he's got cams in lobby, so you can know that he's able to be around that place. Because the big play factor here for Grandpa Squad last time was they had Z-Box on the windows. He got a kill from there, then he jumped in and he completely saved the round for his team.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what Z-Box does this round as well. So you see the castle barricades actually in slightly different positions this time around. I'm not exactly sure where they were, I just remember that they aren't in the same places that they were last time. But overall, the attackers taking it pretty slow, making sure they drone things out. They don't want anything to happen like the last round, where, you know, they didn't have a very thorough flank watch and Pox was able to get behind them. So this time, they're being a lot more careful.
They're in the same place, aren't they?
Well, it's different.
I think he's put one on banana still, right? On the banana door?
Yeah, there wasn't one on the windows toward the west side, though, or the north side.
Either way, like most of the
no, he put it there last time as well. Yeah, he
must have been a late one.
The same castle barricades.
He must have put it
just
up late.
Do the same thing again as well, where he just repels on the windows, gets his castle barricades open, and he just denies that entire area.
So hopefully, like, seeing this for the second time, they've already attacked this relatively exact same setup once. Grandpa Squad are looking to double up, almost finding an angle on a Hellfire who's just sitting inside of CEO office. Playing against these windows can be really, really tough. Of course, the focus last time was primarily coming up these lobby stairs, and that was where most of the action ended up happening in the round number 1. So I'm interested to see what changes over in that area for both the attack and the defense.
I kind of hope that they do a square stage take this time, but it's going to be Pox with the opening kill of the round. Pox with the nitro kill just managed to take it out Silent, and already that's Sludge off the board. That's your nades off the board. It's not a great start. It happened last time as well.
Yeah, Pox is feeling it. Hellfire taking a lot of damage from these windows. Again, it's a tough angle to try to play against. Pox still just watching these stairs. The Capitao at the bottom, K2, very weary. Doesn't really want to push up here and try to face that Valkyrie again. It's not a great gun, but when Pox is behind it, you've got to be scared. 30 seconds, the attackers are still going on their drones. I mean, they're a little bit maybe hesitant of what they want to do. They're going to still push up these stairs, and Pox is going to have another opportunity. He gets it, yes, takes him a few shots, but eventually lands him on a K2. It's a double now for the Canadian. Zbox on the windows downs a player. That's going to be kind of the Castle inside of CEO, who's no longer in the game. 15 seconds. This is getting really, really close for the attackers. Papa Prophet's in a good position to actually walk in and go for that plant, but he doesn't really have a ton of support. He goes down to Valor. Now his teammates scramble to try to pick up that diffuser. Another one goes down. Pox with the triple can get the 4 as well. Kami up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Up against Pox. Well, it doesn't really matter because it's time to run out. Forward movement, take your second round in a row.
Really slow, really sloppy again from the Grandpa squad. I mean, okay, give them benefit of the doubt. It is a bank attack without Hibana and without Thatcher. It's not going to be easy. But I think the biggest defining factor on there that changed from their first time where they successfully attacked is that Zbox did not open that castle barricade that goes into the kind of main bomb site area, right? He has that big double window. He didn't open that up this time. And I really think you get a lot of control out of that area. Like, Hellfire was running out of places very, very quickly to play. And it's a very threatening position, and it shows you why you normally castle barricade that window.
Yeah, they had basically free rotations through the behind the main desk and even through the conference room because that castle barricade was still up. So that was definitely a very good point there, and it does leave you to wonder what changed about their strategy. Why Grandpa Squad didn't put more emphasis on that and use the Zofia charge on something else.
I think the Square Stay's take was really their only viable option, and I think they did realize that toward the end, but then you got to realize we have a Capitao who's pushing Lobby on his own, and Pox again is getting away with an aggressive play there. Things like that cannot allow that to happen. It feels like Grandpa Squad are trying to do too much at the same time in a bank attack, whereas, you know, generally you seem like kind of hammer and nail strategy where you just nail into one part of the site until it gives up. So we'll see what they want to do here. This is definitely an attack that Grandpa Squad need. I thought, like, at the start they were doing quite well because you win that CEO attack right off the rip and you're doing quite well off of that. But we've seen time and time again where they're very slow, they're very methodical, but at the same time they're getting caught out, and Pox 3 times now has gotten away with things that he should not be getting away with.
They're going to go to the third bomb site with both the top floor and bottom floor being locked up. Teller's Archives is the play, and this is a relatively standard hold. I mean, you've opened up a lot of rotations. This is the way that most people want to play this. The castle barricades are getting used once more. Of course, if you like to bring castle on every single bomb site, then this is one that you are really going to want him in. That window's open, Cammy. He can just jump on in, which is what he does into Lone Office. And yeah, I mean, the roam game is going to be important here. Pox notably going off of the Valkyrie over to the mute means that droning him out is going to be even more difficult than it was in the past, so you're really just worried about what Pox and the rest of his team can do. They brought so many good guns and so much mobility that they're going to be a real mess to deal with if you're attacking here.
Good strategy as well coming out that there's basically 2 ways you want to hold this, right? You either want to hold on to CEO, not really that viable when there's like a sledge on the board and stuff, or you can hold on to staff, which is a lot more viable in this case, definitely, because you have this very spread out defense and you're not really that bothered if they do gain that top floor control. And as you can see, Silent is opening up all these sight lines into the site. All this is really doing is stopping the defenders from moving around. But you can see everyone's holding on. We're halfway through the round. No picks have come through. The vertical play hasn't really done too much for the attackers.
Yeah, there's so many places for the defenders to be, and many of them are covered too. We saw the Valk on the stairs. There's no way to basically break the floor above her when you're playing in that sort of position, so she can be completely safe. And so overall, this defense is actually looking very tight, and the attackers...
everyone is very disciplined here. Everyone is just chilling. They know they can't die from any of the vertical play. You just have to relax. Let them push.
The rotations are so hot, they just don't want to rotate at all, and that's absolutely the correct play.
I think this is really a defense that Grandpa Squad want to be able to get kills early on because you don't want people flanking you late into the game. It's not what they've got. However, there's a free one out of Pox, the man himself, the man of the hour, taken down initially by Zbox, who's also had a fairly strong game so far. It's just outside of the bomb site now. Valor's got a lot of pings, a lot of information. No ACOG anymore, but he still could be able to land a shot if somebody walks into his sight line. Looking for a few outside of lobby. Nobody's really there to test him, though. Again, these attackers kind of got to get a move on. There's another pick from them onto Confused. Valor, however, answers back with the Ulta onto Zbox, who is peeking on in. Another one goes down. Papa Prophet finds that, and he's going to start this plant right afterwards. Castle, again, takes a lot of damage. Hellfire, these explosions really hurting him. He could deny this plant if he knows, and oh, just barely misses those shots. The plant goes down, and the defender's in a horrible situation. Another kill from Prophet makes it even worse as Lean is alone in a 1-on-4. Now knows that there's a couple different defenders, has a few pings to work with, but really, this is not a spot I would want to find myself in at all if I was Lean. He still is going to try to go for it. Of course, he's got a lot of HP to work with. Not a ton of time. These attackers have done a good job of spreading themselves out. And that's going to be the gunfight that ends it. Grandpa Squad answer back.
I'm really surprised that Grandpa Squad was able to catch forward movement off guard so often, considering they had a Valkyrie, a Mute, and a Maestro on defense. It seemed like most of those early kills that Grandpa Squad got were toward the backs of forward movement or somewhere where they weren't expecting them to be from.
Yeah,
so maybe a lack of callouts.
The biggest kill, right? It's the first kill onto Pox, who wasn't even aware of anyone behind him on square stairs. So that's a big issue. But like, Pox is in a really bad position there. Everything's going to get opened up from above. But as soon as you lose that side control, you still have the sight lines from the Maestro, but he can only do so much from that position. You've really got to be thinking about flanking opportunities at that point, because they've got to commit a lot to push the site. And you know, there's only probably one guy upstairs. So I feel like someone really, or you're pushing two people upstairs, you get that vertical control, because you see Sledge opened up so much of that floor to stop the rotations back into sight. But that can work against you. So I feel like a rotate up a marble could have worked there. Potentially. Potentially just not enough aggression coming out from forward movement. Good job from Grandpa Squad to really see how that was being held, especially because we had the Maverick open up a kill line on Lone Office to watch that hallway to make sure there was no flanks there. They had all of the vertical play opened up so that no one could push into sight. Z-Box comes into the flanking, he gets that kill there, and all of a sudden they have control of sight.
5 seconds left.
Back to the basement we go, and I was going to say, like, moving into this round that I'm a little bit concerned for defense, because it's going to be hard to play a similar strategy that won them the round all the way back in round number 2, just because it relied on sort of your opponents not expecting you to do that, right? If you're going for late game flanks, that is something that can be watched relatively easily by the attackers if they know that it's going to be coming. You can already see the adaptation from K2 swapping over to the Nomad. However, the strategy seems to have changed the defense as well. Pox moving over to the Pulse. You've also got, like, just more well, I was gonna say more passivity, but never mind. Zbox catches Hellfire just walking to servers. I guess he thought he had that room totally clear, but Zbox so quick into that room means that he's able to shut down the player and get a very early pick onto an important operator.
And now they have control over the blue stairs as well, so they have Valor completely locked down. He can't really rotate out of there no matter what he wants to do, so right now already a very strong position from the attackers, and we're seeing the defusers start to move in here. They will have to flush out the blue stairs before they actually go for any execute, but that shouldn't be too big of a problem. They do have, the side of forward do have Pox moved up quite closely. He's going to be able to detect people through the walls, call out those positions. Someone tries to challenge Z-Box, neither of them getting the better of each other, but Silence gets a headshot onto Valor. That's the stairs cleared out. However, Z-Box runs out of ammo, forced to reload and take out the pistol, and Pox takes full advantage of that.
Very nice shot coming out. Pox again stepping up huge for his team. We put this into a 3-on-3 as we just get around to that halfway mark of the round. Some good aggression being taken by the attackers. I mean, they've got a fair amount of ground here, right? They're just now peeking into servers. Again, confused, maybe a little too aggro for my liking. I suppose he doesn't have a nitro cell, so if he dies, it's not the biggest loss, but you still would like to have him on the board for this late game if the attackers start to push on in. He backs off now, though, and he should be in a little bit safer position. Unless they throw some grenades in there or something, he should be relatively safe.
Nomad to cover their backs and make sure that nobody can rotate around. And from here, this should be a pretty standard take. No smoke grenades on the board, and it seems like they are pinging out a Maestro cam. But Lead actually gets taken out all the way from nowhere. As a couple of angles being held, Silent gets a headshot onto Confused, and now we're down to a one-on-one as... Actually, Silent's gonna be able... No! Not gonna be able to pick him up. Confused, or Pox actually turning the corner and taking them out. That's good awareness on his part.
Man, oh man, Pox really taking advantage of that situation, as you mentioned, just walking on in, suspecting them to be picking up the teammate. Of course, the time was there for Grandpa Squad, so it wasn't inherently the wrong move, but again, you just can't underestimate Pox, who's gonna push if he has an opportunity. A master, it seems, of picking out his moments and knowing exactly when he needs to push. He's been, again, phenomenal so far in this matchup. Extends his team's lead. They have either been in a tie game or held the lead ever since round number 2 when they initially tied things up. And they're looking quite strong here. I mean, perhaps you'd be worried looking at the bans and looking at the map because you know, this seems like it should lean a little bit more towards the defenders, and it's only a 3-2 split, but just based on like kind of the weird strats they've been playing so far, you know, they've only lost like one weird hold on executive and then teller's hold which you don't expect to win. I still think they look at a really good moving here on into round number 6.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out about last round is that they actually committed the defensive side actually committed quite a bit to bailing out the person in blue stairs, and for a minute there it wasn't quite working, but Pox actually did manage to take the 1v1 duel against the Ashe, something that I honestly think he shouldn't have won. So I think overall it was sort of a mistake to commit that hard on trying to save whoever was in blue, and I don't think that's the kind of strategy, or that's the kind of situation that they want to bet will happen again. So it's pretty fortunate that Ashe ended up running out of ammo during that gunfight.
Big thing for me here is again going to be shutting down Pox on the top of the lobby stairs. Every single time they've defended here, he's really like been an explosive force for his team. So I mean, you got to focus that. If you're Grandpa Squad, a big thing for you that you're going to want to work on going into you know, close qualifiers is they've almost for surely locked their spot into that. Not quite, but as they're likely going to be there in close quals, you really want to focus on being able to like lock down what your opponent's doing early on in the game and try to adapt to that. Perhaps they'll do that here in round number 6, but again, I still think it's a little bit late for them. You'd want to have adapted to that a little bit early and just be ready for a Valkyrie to keep pushing you on those lobby stairs, because it's happened quite a few times now, and there just hasn't been a great response so far from it. Really not putting enough bodies on those stairs to watch the different angles that Fox could, well, pop his little head out from.
Forward.
Not a great position to be in right now, but nades are coming out, and critically, that castle is indeed open. We have a lot of the window control going over here. Defense is in a really bad position because they don't have any movement across it. Valor's very aware of that. These windows you can get punished from very, very easily. But defense so far actually looking okay, even though position-wise, they shouldn't really be winning this round.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that there would be a little bit more movement coming from these attackers. I like the window positions they're holding right now, but they can already see that the defenders aren't afraid to fire back, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Lean takes down Cammy with a great angle. He was able to find, I think, again, that was on the windows, with a player dropping off there.
So much better where that Lean does not play elevators anymore, because that's a really bad position to be on. I'm glad he's holding down conference with Valor this time, who I believe has already used all of his stims, so you can see all the attacks really putting the damage into the defense, and there goes Valor himself as well as we get into the final minute of the round.
And Confused actually playing an incredibly long roam. I think he's going to try to surprise anyone in lobby, but his team is dying around him. Pox manages to hold down sight on his own, however, taking out Silent, but the repels have started. Papa Prophet is in sight. Sounds like he is getting pinged out. A couple of smoke bolts go out, but they don't cover where Pox actually is. It's clear they don't know where she is. And now K2 gets the headshot on Confused, and Pox goes down by the hands of Z-Box, and Grandpa Squad actually end up tying it 3-3 as we switch halves.
You know what? Pox did his best, but in that round, it was just a little bit too heavy of a weight to bear. Just me, people going down way too early, and you mentioned it as it happened, but Confused, what are you doing? I mean, way too far off on that roam. I get, like, okay, fine, if you're in like a 5-on-4 or something like that, and you've got a player way off on, you know, in La La Land, perhaps, yeah, they can come in for a late flank like 15 seconds into the round, but at that point,
that's like a 2v4.
Yeah, it's just Pox inside of the bomb site. I mean, what's the guy gonna do? K2 had a phenomenal round as well, racking up quite a few frags in that one, and yeah, I don't know, just the last couple seconds of how that was played by the roam of forward momentum was a little bit questionable for me, so hopefully they can change it as they move on to attack.
We have a 6-pick on to Blackbeard, so it's very clear that they expect this.
I really don't like that.
Yeah, they expect it to be CEO, and they're going to go for as much window play as possible, but of course, that's not where the bomb site is. So at this point, you're in this very weird position, and Sternup mentioned he doesn't like it, and neither do I. Like, this is... Picking a Blackbeard first is such a big gamble, because if it's not CEO, then you're kind of screwed.
It's not even that. It's just Blackbeard in general. He doesn't have any utility, right? Like, he's not that strong. He's not as strong as people think he really is. And yeah, as you said, like, if you're not CEO, he's basically useless, right? So Yeah, I hate this Blackbird pick. I think even if they thought it was CEO and they intend to go here, it's just not a good pick. You're not getting any utility for this. You're taking away utility from your attacking lineup really by picking this Blackbird.
I can kind of empathize with it. Like, you know how sometimes you're reading a book, right? And like, you know French, but not very well. So you think you're reading a book in French, but it's actually a book in Spanish. And so you totally misread the entire, like, thing that you're reading. That seems to be what it was going on here. Just totally not getting even the right language, picking the Blackbeard. I'm assuming they guessed based on the operators where the site was, and unfortunately just chose wrong. So.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that in the very first round, that the reverse kind of happened here. That Grandpa Squad picked the Maverick up when they thought it was going to be downstairs, which, you know, is a viable pickup. But yeah, no Maverick here is definitely going to make things very awkward. And already you're seeing that Grandpa Squad are in a really good position, not just because of what's happened with the particular operator picks, but the scoreline as well. 3-3, very nice scoreline to be going into with bank defense.
Lean, ooh, nice headshot on the Kami. And that will start it out for the attackers, so a little bit of breathing room that he gave his team so far, but it's still not super great because, again, this lineup is absolutely not the lineup that you want to attack a basement.
Player doesn't even need to ADS. He takes down Cammy and forward movement take round number 8.
Please, like, if you're an amateur team and you're watching this, hold Garage. You just sold again, and I swear if these guys lose control of Garage in the third time in a row, I'm gonna lose my mind.
We'll have to see what happens there and how they set up. They did have a Maestro
His main stairs, which they were. Pulse was watching the main stairs. It's all good. And he even gets a kill on main stairs, right? So at that point, the garage push should just not be possible.
Protect your bombs from being defused.
What does he do instead? He plays it way too safe. He's playing all the way at the back where he shouldn't. He lets him get the Maestro cam, and he lets Pox get control, and then you've just lost half of the map right there.
6 pick from the Maestro over the dog from the Cammy. Yeah, I mean, they're very similar operators, and they both have, well, I was going to say both have the Alda, not anymore. They're both considered to be longer range operators, though, and they both have some sort of a camera to them. So perhaps Cammy's just thinking that he wants that health instead. He wants to be able to play a little bit per, perhaps.
I mean, you have a cam. You don't need to do that.
Oh.
Attackers have
You just watch the
located a
cam,
bomb.
and Silent's dead. I do not understand how this map is played. And it is really punishing them now on defenses that they should be easily winning.
Oh boy, oh boy. You've lost a player now. This garage has not really been attempted by the attackers. You're here for the 3rd time. The attackers are still choosing to change up their strategy regardless of the fact that it's been working just fine going through garage. They have some time still, I suppose. I like Cammy's angles that he's still able to open on up. Knows that perhaps if nobody's coming to garage, I can just play perhaps more towards servers. Profits inside of the bomb site, taking a really long and interesting angle. You don't see this one played too often, and it might just catch Pox off guard if he's not careful. This is the server room push, though, and this is really what's going to be important as we just pass that 1 minute mark. For now, Zbox stays in here safe and sound.
Well, that takes out both of the ADSs as well, so any potential flashbangs will be extra useful in here.
He's just gonna play his life there now, right? Like, the hatch is open. He does manage to peek out and get a kill. Great from Zbox. Flashbangs are gonna go down. He's gotta play his life here. He gets another one out of it. Beautiful from Zbox. Val is out of it. That's the thermite down. That might be round winning right there. Lean's not thinking too good about it. It's all gonna go down. Pox does get a kill and has managed to make his way onto the other side. Zbox gotta play his life here. He's gotta waste as much time as possible. Capital gotta be pushing him from the front. It's gotta be coordinated from forward movement if they really want to bring something in. Flashbangs go down. He peeks wide with the shotgun. He has another kill. That's 3 for Zbox on blue stairs.
He can avoid these flashes. Yes, he can. Shotgun in hand. There goes another little bit of utility thrown at him. Means he can't get as aggressive. Picked up, but downed again. He can go for the 4K. This should be free, but from behind, Pox is there to save the day. His teammate stays alive, too, for 40 seconds. More than enough time to be able to pick up Hellfire. So this has gone back from a terrible situation to one that you can totally recover from. On the defense, you've got 1 Nitrosol to watch out for, but of course, he's not going to have the most amount of information. K2's likely to be watching from gold, so he's going to have to coordinate this with himself and get a little bit lucky. With the time not on the attacker's side, though, it's certainly possible, and Kami always a factor you got to watch out for. Here comes the Nitro now. K2 repositioning. He just uses his gun, though. That'll be enough for Hellfire. Pox gets the 3rd kill of the round. Looking for 1 more. 10 seconds on the clock. Running away is K2 with no HP. This might be the play, but Pox is looking for him. 5 seconds. Pox goes for the reload. Doesn't need to do that. Can go for this play. Can get the frag.
Oh! He's
Pox
crazy!
comes on in, and K2 loses it. Pick him up for PO, please.
Oh, Pox is so good, man. Like, so many things happened in the round. So let me just rewind there. So like at the start with the blue stairs hold, I'm gonna guess what happened is we didn't quite see it, but I think Cammy was playing Doc, right? Not my sure. And I think what he did is put the bulletproof cam down instead and played off that. He's much more confident having an ACOG in that situation, right? And they see that. They can't go garage, okay? They go blue stairs push instead. But there was so much miscoordination there. Like, you have the hatch open in that situation. Pox can easily drop down there and go for the flank, which he eventually does, but it could have been so much better coordinated there.
Yeah, he could have done that sooner, or the rest of his team should have waited until he was in position.
Yeah, Zbox does well there, and he's like, you know, the hatch is open. Like, he knows that. He's lost his ADS, he's lost his shield. He has to play his life there. He has to get aggressive. He's gonna die if he tries to retreat. So he just has to just use all his utility, use all his killing power, and just try and see what kind of kills he can get and influence he can have with the round. But Pox has 17 kills right now. Okay, I would like to point out though, the 4K that he got, not last round but the round before, was just freebies that was granted to him because he's in such a powerful position that's granted to him because Lean gets that opening kill and they get the garage control. But Pox, time and time again, has just been pushing the openings and getting kills, and just last round, he recovers the round from what really was an unwinnable situation.
And we're seeing the 4th basement in a row.
Yep, they're really committed.
Every single one.
They really want it.
And they're not really changing up their strategy all that much either. And that's part of what really gets me, is that if you go to the same site over and over and over again, something has to fundamentally change if you keep losing it.
And the attackers
so far it doesn't happen.
Like, they're bringing a Monty now. Why? Nothing's changing on the defense. They're just predicting that surely the defenders will play something different now. We can bring a different strat. But no, it's going to be basement time and time and time again.
I like the Monty push here, honestly.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I mean, really like the Monty here.
Yeah, I mean, you can block off the dirt tunnel. Confuse getting a whole lot of info. He was on a lot of fragging ops earlier on, but I suppose just not really feeling it. Besides that, you know what, I'll let Pox handle that. I'll just be his eyes, and I mean, why not? Your biggest worry is, of course, going to be Zbox up inside the server stairs, but if you can just push in through dirt, then maybe that won't be too big of an issue.
What? Why is K2 up there? What is happening?
Uh-oh.
That is not a place where your pulse should be. Your pulse in this situation should either be like bottom main stairs or even gold or maybe server, right? You're wanting to give out the info, but your pulse upstairs, that's not giving you any info. You got the UMP on a roam, like you're not gonna, that's not gonna happen for you.
And he doesn't have any information denial as well.
Fox gets injured while trying to peek behind, and he does get confirmed as well. Silent somehow gets away with it.
Really impressive. Lean gets one, however, the Monty traded right back off. Silent with double. That's going to be huge. He's confused now, falls after him. Zbox taking a bit of damage, top of these stairs. Of course, got to be careful. Valor's up here, but also on very little HP, being watched from way up above. So, Lean's inside a garage. You got 2 attackers at Skylight that are now focusing in on this player who has been such a nuisance. Zbox has just constantly been so terrible for these attackers. And look at this.
Just
3
don't even push him.
Still.
Do not push him.
This is so tough to deal with. What do you even do?
You don't push him. You ignore him entirely, right? Like, you don't have to do anything here. Silence could be able to move up on the other side.
Especially when Lean has garage control.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't need to push him at all.
For Silent, creeping down these main stairs, can go up against Lean if he has the information. Oh, but he's being double flanked. This could be really big with all of them running down. Silent gets his frag, but he knows the people are coming in behind him. He's got to be able to watch this angle. Lying on the ground in an interesting spot. Valor's actually just rotating for the plant. This is not a bad strategy from him at all. He can start this, and Hellfire can cover. He's watching the garage. Needs to be careful of 2 different angles at once here. Not the easiest thing in the world. Pop a Prophet could be coming in from behind as well. The flank goes down regardless. Hellfire gets dropped, and Valor with no HP. He can't do it. Silent gets a 4 in the round. Save there as we come in from Grandpa Squad. You're going to stay alive in this match after going to lockers 4 times. It works.
I think that was more on the fact that this Monty push was really poorly done.
Yeah.
Like, I would have loved the Monty push through blue stairs, right? Because they're not bringing Ella or anything like that. They're only bringing the smoke, and it's super easy to bait out the smokes when you go to Monty. I thought that was their strategy because the smoke was a big issue last time. But yeah, no, wasn't a big fan of that. The inability to deal with Zbox has definitely been a big killing factor here. I mean, Zbox has saved 2 rounds. Pox has been saving rounds. It is, as you said, the boxes today.
Can I just like rant about something for a second? Because I know that we've been trashing on Grandpa Squad a little bit, but this is a map where they have a 98 or an 89% win rate on it. You go to lockers 4 times in a row, and now you're going staff room open area. Are you just not confident at all in those other 2 bomb sites? And if that's the case, how are you playing so good and winning so many games?
What? Staff room? Who have they been winning against though? That's the real critical thing that Talonspot does not tell you. Let me have a look here. Because, you know, they might have been winning against some teams I've never heard of before.
And, I mean, you could argue that perhaps, you know, these teams from top 16 already, well, they just want to save strats. Yeah. They don't want to play too aggressive. But
they won against a team called LOL XD.
They're actually good.
Are they?
Yeah, they're locked in for top 16 for sure.
Okay. I think that's like the only good team I can see that they beat on bank.
Okay.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, if it's mostly bad teams, then I guess you can rack up a relatively easy win rate. And I guess just run away with 1 map. Especially if those games
also, what you gotta realize is like probably a completely different up-ban scenario that they were in.
That's true. This is a little bit unorthodox.
But honestly, like they're bringing operators that really do abuse the fact that there is a Thatcher and Habana ban, right? Like you've got Mute Mozzie combo, which is really gonna hurt the fact because you have a Thatcher ban. It's gonna be very hard to drone out any of these areas if they are indeed playing it correctly. But honestly, feel like a lot of these players on Grandpa Squad are just playing too aggressive. Like they have the correct strategy down, and a lot of the things that they're doing is correct, but there's just small mistakes that are happening, and well, that can be a killer for most teams.
It's sort of like aggression in the wrong places too, because if you're playing toward a roamer style, then you can be more aggressive, but they haven't been doing that on their defense either. So it's just sort of like, you know, why is your smoke getting super aggressive? Why is your maestro getting super aggressive without checking his cams first or anything like that? So it is definitely a bit of an odd situation, and you do have to kind of think like how much of that, some of that can't really be because of the Habana ban, right?
Opportunity for Pox, just barely misses it. Top 4 being taken control of the attackers doesn't matter too much for Confuse, as he does go down to Zbox. So I was gonna say this is quite strong for the attackers, and with 2 operators that can deny the flank, they can hold on to this probably for the entire round. But with 1 going down there, perhaps this is gonna be a little bit more open for the defenders than I initially had suspected. It's also the problem, of course, for the attack of actually translating this into a push.
What? You thought someone was in there? This is not a good drone work at all, but Pox from above will indeed find a kill. Papa Prophet is going to go down. That's a nitro off the board as well, and you've lost a lot of that Archives control now as well. But I'm concerned about Zbox and where he's managed to find his way into, because he did rotate all the way downstairs. And, well, he's going to be a big issue on the room.
I mean, really,
we've also only got a minute left.
That's very true. I mean, if he doesn't come up soon, that could just be impactless and could be a big detriment to his team, but I'm sure that he's liking to get back to this bomb site at some point in the next 48 seconds.
He's got blue, so he's got that control the whole way.
Fine. The attackers aren't really there, though, are they? Like, 2 defenders are in Skylight. This is kind of free if they want to just walk on in to the open area. Lean is right here if he wants to try to make this push. They could maybe get a plant down. That would be very nice from them, but they don't seem to have that intel. The Mute Jammer just standing right in front of him. Finally, we'll take it down. Does Lean. 30 seconds on this clock. They can start going. Again, backs against the wall for Grandpa Squad. If they lose here, their hopes at top 16 likely over. And Pox in a very dangerous position. Could have got peaked, but unfortunately for the defender, it doesn't quite have that intel, and so they can't go for it. A lot of opportunities, and wow, Cammy with a great shot to the head of Pox. They can start this plant, but will it matter? Silent there to try to deny. Hellfire is watching. He does get down. He can't go for the plant. 5 seconds now. Everything is totally devolved. Grandpa Squad win it. And boy, oh boy, what an end to that round.
It's almost like there's a hatch right there. That was painful to watch.
There was an Electroclaw on the hatch, and this entire time the Thermite was trying to stay up top. And I think he was calling out to his team, you know, there's a Electroclaw there, but for some reason, no one ever ended up taking that out, so he wasn't...
we had the hallway control for ages.
Yeah.
You should just shoot the Electroclaw.
Yeah, that's one of
the Thermite was upstairs when Capital was in that hallway and had control.
Yes, and I think that's part of the reason why we saw Valor upstairs for the last minute of the round, sort of like running around thinking,
you can talk about it.
Thinking like, what am I gonna do? Because this entire plan comes off of him basically getting that hatch open, and nobody ends up getting the Electric Claw. So it is definitely a very strange
Defenders,
situation there.
protect your bombs from
Number
being
one
defused
team
by
going to
attackers.
closed qualifiers, of course, run it back. Have had a very successful time here in the open quals. It's needed to be a run it back situation from Grandpa Squad to save this game, and with it save their hopes at top 16. It's still mathematically possible, I believe, for them to make top 16 if they lose here, but man oh man, they're going to have to get so lucky. This is really a win that they need to be able to find, and so far the play has just not been there. However, comeback has started, and with 2 rounds in a row, they are just 1 away from forcing us into the overtime, making Cernab suffer through a couple more
10 seconds
rounds.
left before
Oh
insertion.
boy, I'm sure excited to see how this, well, very first executive defense comes in the second half.
Yeah, so we have a pretty similar setup to the
Attackers'
one
objective
that
is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
that forward gaming, the forward movement we're running before. And Pox actually, I do like that Claymore. Anyone tries to run out and get back in will end up tripping that. But yeah, overall defense looks somewhat similar to the way that forward had it, with the castle barricades in very similar places as well. A lot of it comes down to what the attackers decide to do, though, because Grandpa Squad, they sort of got, or they sort of dismantled forward when they played this kind of defense by opening up the correct walls. We'll see what Pox decides to use his utility for.
I mean, probably you're going for those castle barricades again, right? Like, you can see them. You've got those lifelines if you want to try to hit him from range. Oh no, Hellfire is about to find a player, and he doesn't really realize it. Zedbox right on the other side, but he wins the gunfight regardless. Hellfire, he's so good. Takes down one of the best fraggers for defense in this entire match, and that's going to be a really big, important kill if now they want to translate this into a 7-5 victory.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Jaeger dying downstairs, right? Like, you don't really lose any control for that. It is a big kill because of who specifically it is in terms of player-wise, but also it's not really costed you anything to lose that player, right? Okay, it might be unfortunate, but they still have a lot of control. They still have the C4 downstairs. They still have generally much going for them. K2, I guess, is deaf, or I don't know what he's doing down there, but, well, he's going to get away with it in silent. Also, going to get a kill on the Pogs with the UMP.
Yeah, speaking of the top fraggers going down at the start of this round, we have both of them here.
Silent is going to be in such a good position here, right? And, like, he's that side, right? Cool. But they can't get these windows right now because he's here, and they're going to have to try and kill him, and he can waste a lot of time doing this. And while he's out there, they know that they can't repel, right? Like, the defense can play around this very aggressively.
Yeah, this is a great spot for them to find themselves in. He just needs to not play too aggressively. The attacker is totally deciding to ignore that area just because he's out there.
It's good.
However, though, it is kind of a 2-on-4. As you take a look at this bomb site, not a lot of defenders left to hold on. Seems like based on that notification, he might have rotated on back in. Yes, he has. Silent back on now. K2's getting frags to equalize the numbers, and with this guy showing up, that makes it a true 3-on-3 for this bomb site. 40 seconds means the attackers have a little bit of wiggle room to try to work their way in. They're not quite in with their planter just yet. A couple of shots being missed as unfortunately they can't catch the rotating player. Very low HP from Confused. Silent with a dirty bullet hole looking for these pings. Fortunately, the attackers can't find these cams. They're Silent with his second of the round. Rotating in, taking down Valor. That's such an important frag. Confused on so little HP. He's going to really rely on his teammate Hellfire to be able to get a couple of these for him. Of course, none of these players holding on to that defuse kit just yet. They're going to have to pick it up if they want to be able to plant this, and they should if they want this time. K2 gets his second. It's going to be Confused to force it and end it right now. It doesn't look like he can do it. No HP at all. He jumps on in, but Cammy is there. We're going to overtime, boys.
That castle barricade is still closed. I'm telling you, man, that is the key to holding this site. If you can keep that castle barricade closed, you win every time.
It's a nice one.
It's just like you have no control. And also just like denying that window control means the defense can very freely move around. However, the big issue here now is that Nationals man, Parks does have defense. So, and you know, we have seen that even though it was a 3-3 split, this does favor defense because like you get to go to 2 strong sites, right? You don't have to go to the offsite.
Or if you're Grandpa Squad, you could go to lockers 4 times.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, they made it work, and then they won the next 2 defenses. So
I guess. Kind of makes you wonder if they just done staff and executive earlier. Maybe they wouldn't have to go to overtime, but whatever. I digress.
Multiple places they could have won it out.
Hawk's about to set a new record out here.
And now we get to see forward go back to the basement defense, and you can take that.
Maybe. I guess we'll see.
Well, I
But
just
we do
wondering
see
what
the
your
Maverick
best
coming
thing-
this time, so this is good. This is a good lineup. From what we've seen of these basement defenses, it has been pretty solid coming up from forward movement.
5 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, and it seems like this time they're playing pretty much the same way they played their original defenses.
I don't like this. The 5-7. I don't think this is the play, personally. I think the 45 way better, much higher stopping power, right? Even though it's got less bullets. I'm all about it.
Hellfire, he sees one. It'll be really aggressive if he tries to go for this peek, especially since the drone is out there. Silent is going to challenge the angle, and Silent easily gets that. There was a drone there. Ooh, that was not the place for Hellfire to be, and that's a huge piece of utility off the board for the side
not
forward
be playing
gaming.
that close. As soon as you see anyone on that pulse scanner, you pull back immediately. You do not want to be that close at all. But Puck's is going to try and recover the situation a little bit, stopping Val from getting pushed onto his flank. We've got a lot of players there, but Pox goes for the play and he gets a kill as Zedbox out of it. Beautiful from Pox. He tries to go for another one. He gets it. Cammy's out of it. This is beautiful from Pox. As he pushes all the way up, he's regained the control and he's saving the round.
Dude, Pox doesn't care. I mean, he's inside of servers, and that's his servers, and you can't come in, and that's just the rules, and you're gonna have to deal with it. They have the opportunity to back off all the way through the tunnel if they'd like to. K2's hitting some nice shots on the Valor, so alright. You're starting to recover this a little bit. Pock's still alive, and server's going to be an issue, but he's going to have somebody right behind him. He should be able to hear this as he gets droned as well. The pinch could be well coordinated, but he has enough time to back off to his team, and that's going to be a safe and sound Pox all the way back in Gold Vault. Leave it to Lean to be able to hold on and stop these defenders as they walk on in. That's a really slick getaway from Pox.
This is absolutely sloppy as heck, right? It's just gonna really just put you in a really bad position because you know there's going to be coming down blue, but you need these guys to commit to the push.
It seems like they're not committing to just yet. It's Papa Prophet trying to figure out any sort of avenue he has to plant. Doesn't want to do it right in front of the Maestro cam, but K2 gets a nice pick off the back of that, and Papa Prophet is able to get the plant down immediately, and that's just it.
Yeah,
Silent takes the
as soon as Pox gets down there, that's game over, right? Like, yeah, I'm actually convinced now that playing Maestro on this site is not the play.
Really?
I think playing Doc is the play, right? Because you're the ACOG, and that's like the entire point of playing the Maestro there in the first place is because you get that angle that goes onto the default plant spot from Garage, and you can't do that without an ACOG, really. And we saw it be way more successful with the Doc. I like playing a bulletproof in Garage, maybe.
Yeah, that's definitely fair, and I think that's especially true when you have a Valk too, because you can shore up that extra information game by having the extra cameras. So I think there's definitely merit to that. And we will see as they trade sides. Grandpa Squad are the ones who are going to try the basement, and they're bringing a Doc, in fact. So overall, we'll see if this Doc strategy is actually the key. Because
they did it last time, right? And that was
need to
one
locate
time
and
they
one
actually
they won.
won
as
that
many bombs as they
defense,
can.
Exactly.
Can we see, does Cammy have a bulletproof cam?
I've got to imagine, right?
I mean, like, I assume so.
I mean, he's not like Kai. He's not going to bring, like, barbed wire on the Mozzie.
Yeah, hopefully.
I love you, Ty. A wonderful recruiter.
Yeah, he deserves it. Okay, so he's rocking the Navi skin as well. This is good. Not like some other skins that have been shown in these calls, which I don't approve of.
Now I'm curious.
10 seconds remaining.
You know, I've been seeing like so many people running like Ember Rise.
5 seconds remaining.
That's fair, yeah.
I don't like that bulletproof. He did the Maestro cam there as well. I don't understand that at all. And we got a pulse roaming again. Like, what is happening?
It is a weird question, because, like, what do you gain by putting it there instead of farther
Well,
back?
normally you put it, right, you jump on the bins at the back,
Yeah.
and you put it at a really elevated position, right, so you can see the entirety of Garage.
It makes it easier to see over things.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, it's just
I'm just
right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to rationale. I'm just trying
There's
to
no
reason through my
rationale with
head.
these people.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good way to shut down that thought.
Rationale or not, they've managed to collect 7 rounds in this game, and if they get this next one,
Somehow,
or the
yeah.
last one, yeah, they will be able to
good.
walk away with a win and keep their.
But this is what I'm saying,
insane
right?
record.
Is like he can crouch in there and he can instantly destroy that. And Cammy, if he was further back, potentially, he can peek off of that easily. But now, you've already lost control of Garage.
And as you already mentioned, Garage is extremely hard to retake. We already see the attackers pushing in, and it seems like Kami's just giving up the angle. He doesn't really want to challenge it, and there are two people here too, so they're really going all in for this. And yeah, Kami rotates all the way off, especially as that hatch gets broken. Now Silent's trying to challenge it from a very long angle, and while the 416 is quite good, it does not have an ACOG, so we'll see what this long angle can do for him. Pox peeks the corner. Silent actually takes him out. The holographic working wonders for him, and that is actually a very strong challenge.
Night. 100%. That's a good night, Silent.
Sometimes you just hit your shots, and that's what you get because of it. Really well shot from Silent.
Say, like, good fraggers can save rounds like that, where you got tactically outplayed because you lost garage control super early. And yeah, just by getting that kill, now you've regained that control and you've alleviated a lot of pressure, even though strategically you should have lost.
Where are these attackers, right? Like, two of them are barreling down the main stairs. They're going to trade off who has that diffuser, give it to Confused instead. They still got one pushing inside of Garage, so Lean is going to be the one to hold down this fort. He doesn't really have any friends with him, as most of the other attackers are up top, so fair enough. Hopefully he can not go down, but you've, again, got not a lot of time to start moving on in. Got some pressure onto the elevators as well. Lean, I mean, somebody's on the other side of that ACOG just dancing with them, but they're not going for the peak, so dance will not result in anything too spectacular.
Look at how far back the defenders are forced to play right now, though. There's so much control for the attacker side, and they haven't really been doing anything with it. Oh, here comes the waterfall drop.
What is this?
They all
Valor manages to pick up one.
Oh boy, a couple of frags for both. Hellfire and Valor both get one, so there you go. You've already lost both those players, though. Confused and Valor on 0 HP means player advantage actually for the defenders. They'll bolt on in, get one, get two. There's the quad. Can they deny the ace? They can. Now Lean alone in a 1-on-2. He needs to get this diffuser, but all the defenders are so far gone. This is going to be the game. He can't go for the plants. Well, I guess he can, but these guys should be able to come back in, right? Surely. They don't necessarily have the time. Lean, no, he gets it down. He could still win this. They've already said GG, but it might be 2-2-2. Oh no, Lean coming on in. Can he get the both frags? No. K2's there.
That would have been incredible. Silent would not have heard the end of that if he had actually pulled the clutch out. But yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah, well played in the end. A lot of sloppy mistakes, though, coming out from their side. I think Silent definitely saves that round, but you're getting tactically outplayed on a map that you're supposed to have a very strong win rate on, so definitely something that Grandpa Squad can go back and they can learn from this VOD. And yeah, that is just... That's not what you want to see in an MVP screen.
Yes, Silent saved that round.
Yeah, no, definitely. But my main point is
Silent
that...
saved that round, but then the defenders backed off of literally everything. They were pushed back. I think there was one person who wasn't near Vault or Gold, and the attackers didn't do anything with that space.
Yeah, exactly, right. And that's my main point, is like you get the garage control, all you need really is just one person who can hold that. And guaranteed, yeah, okay, Silent got a really good kill there. Killed that he really shouldn't have had. Because, as I said, like, tactically, he did get outplayed, and Pox can really maintain a very good passive angle, and he can maintain control of all of that. So, like, that's my biggest issue, but also, on the other side, you've got Z-Box, or Z-Box, whatever you want to call him. He's holding down that blue angle, and he was such an issue so many times on that downstairs attack, and finally, when they did eventually win, it's because the garage control ultimately doesn't really matter, because you can't get anything else.
Well, that's going to be the game. An 8-6 scoreline will send forward movement out of the qualifiers. They're not going to be able to make it to top 16. They're not going to make it to Challenger League season number 11. The run is over for Pox and the boys. Maybe he'll get picked up for PL. Maybe not. Time will tell, I suppose. But that's going to be it for the stream. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on out. Try not to be too mad in the chat. Nothing's personal, of course. We just want these players to improve. And, you know, we love watching them. We definitely hope the Grandpa Squad can continue on in these quals. And, you know, win some more games, because currently they sit in 15th. If they can win just maybe one more tomorrow, that's probably going to be enough to lock down that top 16, and then nothing matters except for making it to CL. So that's been our cast tonight. My name is Jesse J. Chick. Huge thanks to the boys Azaraki and Cernav for jumping on the cast with me. It was a delight.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And huge thanks to Ty as well, our observer. Even though we rag on him a bit here on the stream, he's been phenomenal for us all night long. So thank you guys for coming out. Qualifiers continue and conclude tomorrow. This channel is going to be starting up at 8:30 Eastern, so that's going to be with round number 8. We'll cover the last 2 rounds, and then that'll be it for open qualifiers. Make sure you're back tomorrow, 8:30. I'll see you then. Hope you have a good night. Bye-bye.